Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for clicking on to this video. I know you have come here because you want to be aware of the information. You want to be aware of what is happening in our world today. My name is Honorable Engineer Nelson Gore, and I am the National Youth Chairman, Fire Team, which stands for Frontline and Affirmative Youths for Azimio. Today, I'm not going to talk about the politics of our land, Kenya, but I'm going to take a flight beyond our borders, beyond the oceans and the big seas, and take you to Ukraine and Russia. Why is Russia and Ukraine bombarding each other? And that is a very big question. Any person should ask themselves, because we are living in a society where peace for all races, for all generations, and for all nations is paramount. So, politics, to me, is a dirty game. What is my definition of politics? What is my definition of war? And how does war relate to politics? Politics, to me, is a selfish distribution of resources. Who are these people who are selfishly distributing resources? The leaders we elect. And why are they doing that? Because they want to benefit themselves. They want to benefit their nations. They want to benefit their own. So, politics influences the national emergency to start a war. It may be a conventional war, like we see in Russia and Ukraine. So, Russia, over the past, have deployed troops near Ukraine borders. This has raised geopolitical temperatures, with the US warning of several consequences. So Ukraine was part of the Soviet Republic. They felt that part of their Russia went with Ukraine. And that is the reason why they seized Crimea. So Crimea had been seized from Ukrainian by Russians. And Russians are afraid that if Ukraine joins NATO, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which has 30 members, including the US, the UK, and Germany. So, Russia is afraid that if Ukraine joins NATO, if Ukraine's become part of NATO, and you know that NATO, as per the principles of collective defense, which is enshrined in Article 5 of the Washington Treaty, is that if one member state of NATO goes to war, all the other states are as well will be in support of that single nation. So, Russia is afraid that if Ukraine joins NATO, and with the support of 30 countries, including the US and Germany and France and UK, Ukraine will try to get back Crimea that was taken from them by the Russians. So President Putin is categorically specific to this, and he doesn't want that to happen. So through this bombarding, he's just trying to make Ukraine uncomfortable of joining NATO. Because when Ukraine joins NATO, they will start to deploy troops. NATO will deploy their troops to Ukraine. And over time, they will begin to seize and to regain back Crimea. And sometimes back, you know, there is a magazine in the United States that said the seizure of Crimea was one of the greatest land grabbing in the history of Europe. Like Russians grabbed Crimea, and that is one of the greatest land grabbing in the history of the world. So I think with that in mind, Putin is really afraid that if Russia joins this, if Ukraine joins NATO, he will have a lot of enemies. You know, one of this in the article 5 of the Washington Treaty, that as per the principle of collective defense, when you hit one member of the NATO, you hit all the 30 members of NATO. So Russia has been on a defense and a discouraging mission to ensure that Ukraine doesn't get into a treaty with, including giving out an article that was written in 1997 that any state that the US and the NATO will not allow additional of an extra state to join NATO, including Ukraine. So they have been trying to defend this for over a period of time because they are afraid of the increase in troops that will go back and seize Crimea and return the land to. So, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes it's easy to understand, sometimes it's difficult to understand. But I've made it simple for you guys. As much as you are sharing memes on social medias and you are sharing your grievances and you are sharing your concerns about the peace of the people of Ukraine, you must understand the roots of all these things. The people in Ukraine are having difficult time. There are students from Kenya who are having difficult times in Ukraine. There are students from Africa who are having difficult times in that country because of this war. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am not for any war, any form of war or military attack. I'm just persuading you and persuading the rest of the world we have a peaceful nation, we have a peaceful world, that each and every person can wake up with a smile, with the singing of the birds in the morning, and smile without enmity of each other. Thank you very much, and may God bless you, and I hope you've now understood why there is war between Russia and Ukraine.